President Trump is touting a new separate trade deal he negotiated preliminarily with Mexico, cutting out Canada, clearly to try to force concessions from Canada. But can he even kill NAFTA without congressional approval? Joining me now, Republican Senator Pat Toomey, a member of the Finance and Budget Committees. Sorry, a little hoarse today. Senator Toomey
from
Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. Can the president unilaterally kill NAFTA without coming to Congress?
No, absolutely not. Remember, NAFTA was made possible, it became operative with the passage of legislation passed by both houses of Congress, signed into law by the president, the way we do legislation in this country. And the president can no more repeal that legislation unilaterally than he could repeal Obamacare or anything else. So no, it has to come back to Congress for a modification or a withdrawal.
What about doing this side deal with Mexico and cutting out Canada entirely? Is that a good idea?
So I would rather see this remain as a tri-party arrangement. I think
all three countries,
that's
North America.
It's a North American free trade zone. There are three big countries in North America. That's the way this ought to work, in my view. I've got some concerns about the substance of the agreement with Mexico. There's definitely some good features. There's some things I definitely don't like. And when we see the actual text, I'll be able to evaluate the relative strength of those things. I would certainly want to see Canada as part of this, but the president can't use the trade promotion authority that he was given, right, the expedited procedures in the Senate especially, to switch this to a bilateral agreement. When the president informed Congress and invoked TPA, it was for the purpose of reforming NAFTA. A bilateral agreement with Mexico is not a reform of NAFTA. It's something entirely different. So if that's the path they decide to stay on, that's going to require 60 votes in the Senate because they can't use TPA for that.
Not just TPA being the fast-track authority
right.
to speed it through. How have exports from Pennsylvania and from the rest of the country been affected since NAFTA?
They've gone through the roof. I mean, what would happen, fundamentally, NAFTA is generally the elimination of tariffs, the elimination of taxes on trade across our borders. In my state of Pennsylvania, exports from Pennsylvania to Mexico, for instance, have quintupled. It's up 500% since NAFTA. Now imports are up too, which means Pennsylvania consumers have had lower cost products that have originated in Mexico. But our sales to Mexico are up 500% roughly.
The flag over the U.S. Capitol was lowered immediately on Senator McCain's death. And then we saw what happened at the White House, where the flag was back at full staff until the president, really grudgingly, after pressure from the American Legion, finally relented, and his own staff telling him. What signal does that send?
I don't know. Clearly, there was a lot of tension between Senator McCain and President Trump. My own view is that Senator McCain, a flawed human like all of us, but nevertheless an icon, a war hero, a great example of self-sacrifice for his country, a great patriot. He was a great senator. I disagreed with him from time to time. We all did, but I had enormous respect for Senator McCain.
Should Jeff Sessions be replaced?
I don't think so. I think Jeff Sessions is a good man. He brings unquestioned integrity to this office. I think he's actually doing a very good job implementing the president's agenda, which is what he's supposed to be doing there. I think he was right to recuse himself from the investigation from which he did recuse himself. So I think Jeff Sessions should stay.
Well, Senator Toomey, thank you very much, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.